Franchise General Manager, Senior Vice President of World of Warcraft, and the Warcraft franchise as a whole, John Hight, is retiring. Well, retiring from WoW. It seems like he's moving on to something else, and we'll read through his text and descriptive a little bit, but yeah, John Hight is leaving the team. It's sad news. I actually felt like him and Holly Longdale really put together a good team. I liked their dynamic in the interviews and everything. He seemed passionate about the game, so he will be missed. But this was the statement he released on X. After 12 incredible years at Blizzard, I've decided to step away and start a new quest. It was a tough decision, but I feel like now is as good a time as any. Warcraft is in an amazing position as the universe turns 30. I've been so honored to serve all of the heroes of Azeroth. You are the most passionate, dedicated, and creative, degenerate community in gaming. I might have edited that myself. You are why I've poured my heart and soul into creating the best games possible. You have inspired me, challenged me, and made me a stronger developer. As for what's next in my journey, I don't have any specifics to share quite yet, but I am excited to explore new opportunities and challenges in the industry and to continue making great games with talented people. Thank you again for making these years so unforgettable, and I still will see you in Azeroth, now as purely a player. There it is. I mean, what a nice little message there. Now, the whole thing that's very interesting about this is this line right here, where he talks about the fact that he has a journey to continue forward here. That he's not retiring, but he's moving on to something else. Could it be one of those offshoot, former Blizzard leadership created a new company kind of things? Maybe. Right, there's that whole, Lighthouse Studio or something like that. There's a couple different studios now that have been created by former Blizzard presidents and vice presidents and stuff like that. So there are a couple options out there for him to join. Could he join the Riot MMO team? That would be a wild one for sure. We'll have to see, but he's certainly not retiring. He's just moving on. Joining Blizzard back in 2011, Hight served as senior producer for Mists of Pandaria, most underrated expansion, as well as production director for Diablo III, Reaper of Souls, Legion, and Battle for Azeroth, rising to the position of executive director and vice president as the chief caretaker for World of Warcraft. In 2021, he assumed the position of franchise general manager, and this is where he oversaw development and commercial activities for the Warcraft franchise, including World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, and Rumble. Yeah, so he had a big position. Him and Holly Longdale really seemed to have a good dynamic going. I like the way they kind of managed things, the way they dealt with interviews, they dealt with the community. John Hight was a nice guy. He was a nice guy, and again, it seems like he's moving on to something else. Now, if I had to bet, would it be another MMO? I think so. It seems like that's where his background really is. I mean, Mists of Pandaria, Legion, Battle for Azeroth, these are things, obviously that he was part of, and all have to do with MMOs. So we'll see if he's moving on to another big MMO title later on in his career. Transitioning from that into what is coming in World of Warcraft. Now, I didn't talk a lot about this, but yes, Season of Discovery PTR is now live. It's a big thing. It's coming. And one thing that I wanted to talk about was Season of Discovery in general has been getting a lot of really cool world events. World content in general. And I'm just wondering, why the hell don't we get this shit in retail? This is why people talk about Season of Discovery and the world of Season of Discovery and classic WoW in general as feeling more alive, right? Like the world itself is more alive, it's more awake. You feel like Azeroth is an actual world to discover and to be part of. And it feels like retail sometimes, the world feels a little bit dead. And I'll be honest, I feel like it's because we lack world events. Me personally, I love world events. I mean, even if it's the smallest thing like the Hearthstone event that we got not too long ago, anything that causes people on a server to gather in one area, I really like that stuff. It's one of my favorite things. That's why I play an MMO. I don't want to solo an MMO. I want to play it with a massive amount of people. But anyways, the thing that Season of Discovery is getting was noticed on the PTR and is yet to really be announced. But in Blackrock Mountain, an area in the Burning Steppes, as many of you know, there was an eruption counter that was noticed at the top of the screen. So after 2 hours, this says Blackrock eruption occurs at midnight and every 2 hours after. So this was the counter that was noticed at the top here. You see Blackrock eruption, 60 minutes remaining. And Blizzard hasn't confirmed like what's going to happen yet, but it seems like it's going to be a PvE event. Now we know previously We've seen Season of Discovery get some really cool events. They had the whole Blood Moon event. That was a PvP event, really. They also had the Stranglethorn Veil event going on and stuff. There's some really cool stuff that's been dropping in Season of Discovery in terms of world event content. And it looks like they're going to get something else now with Blackrock Mountain. Some type of eruption. If I had to guess, probably lava mobs running everywhere during an eruption. You kill them, you do the things. At the end, a giant boss spawns and you kill him. Who knows? Maybe it's Ragnaros, you know, or a portion of him coming out for everybody to kill. Very cool stuff. Now, technically, in Season of Discovery, he's dead, right? But, you know, Ragnaros, he's always coming back. We know that. I'm running through the N'Zoth invasions because I never did them live. It's a lot of fun. Feels like Guild Wars 2 events. They should do more of that. Yes, even Legion invasions. If you ever did those, oh my god, Egg and Friend. Legion invasions were amazing. The servers felt so alive. Everybody gathering up in a single area to defeat these Legion invasions was absolutely amazing. And it's what makes the game really fun. It's a lot of spontaneity in it. You know, just seeing people do things. I even miss Wintergrass as an event, like even a timed world event like that. Man, I wish they would bring stuff like that back to retail. Right now, there is no indication that we're going to get anything like that in the War Within, but Season of Discovery looks like they're going to get something else. Moving on to some War Within news. Season 1 Mythic Dungeon preview. Looks like there's been some changes made to the seasonal, dungeons that are going to be part of Season 1. We know some of those are Siege of Borealis, Necrotic Wake, and Mists of Tyranna Scythe. Siege of Borealis will be played through an Alliance perspective. That's very interesting. So when you're doing it on Mythic or Mythic Plus version, even the Horde will be playing through it on an Alliance version of it. Ashvane's Spotter sighted artillery no longer damages enemy creatures. That's sad. That probably would have been a really cool mechanic to do. If you remember, you could have pulled them into the blasts and it would have killed them. Probably would have been OP as shit, but they got rid of it. So you won't be able to do that when you're running this on a Mythic version or higher. Necrotic Wake, a bunch of different abilities have been nerfed or taken out, basically, to avoid some kind of issues that could have came from them. And then Mists of Tyranna Scythe, Vine Gates. If you know the Vine Gates, you open up the vines, you get the buffs, you can cut through things. Those will not be able to be used by Tauren, High Mountain Tauren, Night Elves, and Druids and Herbalists. So if you have any of these in your group, you will be able to open the Vine Gates, gather the buffs, take the short, you know, whatever comes with opening the Vine Gates. Yes, you'll be able to do them as long as you have one of these in your group. Moving on to a spoiler-ish, not really. It's not really a spoiler. You don't have to plug your ears, I promise. I usually don't reveal spoilers on here. I try to avoid those. But just some interesting stuff coming from the Titans. That'll be coming out in the War Within. So if you know, or you should know already, this isn't really a spoiler here, there are two types really of Earthen. The Oathsworn and the Unbound. The Oathsworn essentially are the Earthen that have remained loyal to the Titans, while the Unbound are the ones who have developed a sense of free will and they don't want to do what they were basically created for anymore. Well, it turns out that the Titans are dicks. We already knew this, but they continue to show how dicky they can truly be. So once it's discovered basically that these Earthen have decided to kind of venture off and do their own thing and not continue to do what they were created for, it basically initiated a giant, colossal Titan construct. So we're going to play through this event. This will happen. And this construct essentially is created to destroy all the Earthen. Basically, this thing was put here that if the Earthen ever stopped doing their purpose or ever stopped, you know, being the Earthen they were created to be, this colossal Titan would come about and kill them all. Now you fight off the Titan, you know, you do the quests and everything, but again, very interesting stuff coming from the Titans. More stuff that kind of shades them in a dark light, right? And kind of puts them in that bad guy version. So we've seen this before, and we continue to see stuff like this, which is why I continue to say the last Titan would certainly lead to a fight maybe with the Titans, or a fight with the last Titan, or beyond that, killing all the Titans, and then there is only one who assumes the throne of the Titans, and that is the last Titan. It's a very interesting wordplay in that expansion that's been happening, but it's certainly fighting the Titans, remember, is Iridikron's goal. We're definitely going to end up doing that. And then last but not least here, we talked about, we ranked all the tiers the other day for melee DPS, and you guys remember I kept saying rogues are in a shitty spot. We need to see rogues get some buffs. Well, real quick here as we finish out, rogues are in fact getting a buff, at least the Deathstalker. And I feel like more things are going to come for rogues down the line, but across the board, rogues have, Deathstalker rogues have almost gotten a doubling of all their attack power, mutilate, everything else. Everything basically got doubled across the board here, except for the energy gathered from Envenom. But It's good to see that they really weren't in a good spot when we did the rankings. A lot of the specs for Rogue have not been in a good spot towards the end of Dragonflight here, unless you're talking about Assassination, ass. So continuing to see these kinds of changes will happen. Don't worry if your class is not in a good spot right now. It's all a TBD. You know, changes keep happening. This is beta at the end of the day. So if you don't like where your class currently sits, it doesn't mean that's how it's going to be when the War Within launches.